Part 26. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 283. The scene continued to play. The school found Sayaka on the way out of school and asked her to take her with her when defeating the witch like her senior sister. In this way, you can ensure that you have a trump card at the critical moment. Once Sayaka is in a critical situation, she will make a contract with Kyubei to join the fight and make a comeback. But Sayaka is a madman and didn't notice this intention. She just thought it was great to have someone to accompany her. As a result, the two began a just cause to defeat the witch. But when they were chasing the witch's apostle, Sayaka was stopped by an uninvited guest. And this person is Kyoko, the magical girl who was originally scheduled to come here to take over after Asami's death, and Kyoko is very unhappy with Sayaka, a newcomer who is stealing her job. Moreover, Kyoko also said that the apostles will not drop the seeds of lament. They have to let them turn a few people into witches before attacking them. This is to maintain the ecological balance and ensure the supply of seeds of lament. Sayaka herself strongly disagrees with this approach, which is completely different from her original intention of becoming a magical girl. In this regard, many viewers and magical girls also support Sayaka very much. If the apostles are allowed to harm mankind, then what is the point of them becoming magical girls? However, some smart people suddenly noticed the seriousness of Xing's words. Maintain ecological balance, 150. I seem to have introduced the origin and function of the seed of lament before. But it does not explain what will happen if the magical girl's soul gem becomes turbid. Could it be that, if the soul gem becomes cloudy, will something terrible happen? And it's something that affects the life of a magical girl? I see. In the world of Conan couldn't help but hold his chin and think about the problem. In the end, in a sudden flash of inspiration, his lenses reflected a beautiful arc, and his eyes suddenly became solemn. If all possibilities are eliminated, then there is only one truth, at this moment. As a famous detective, Conan-kun has discovered the seriousness of the matter. Although he may be just a scumbag in terms of force, but in terms of IQ, he is enough to crush countless existences. If you guessed correctly, once a magical girl's soul gem becomes completely turbid, she may very well become a witch. And this is why the show never mentioned why the witch was born, and why the magical girl in front of me said these words. At the same time, in the world of Madoka Magica, Xiaomi Homura and most of the magical girls fully agreed with Kyoko's statement. After all, if the soul gem becomes turbid and they don't have the seed of lament, the consequences may be disastrous. Sacrificing a few people can bring about the survival of most people. This is a sure way to make money without losing money. In the scene, facing the stubborn Sayaka, Kyoko will not be used to it, and she will use force without hesitation. Bang 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 bang. In an instant, the two people disagreed and started fighting. Facing the overwhelming offensive, Sayaka was no match for Kyoko, a senior. She could only passively resist the opponent's offensive and retreated steadily. Why? Looking at this scene, Madoka on the side was heartbroken, and the expression on her face was extremely sad. Obviously she is not a witch. Why do companions have to fight? There is no way, they have no intention of giving in. At this time, Kyubei also felt a little helpless. Please Kyubei, tell them to stop. How can this be done? There is nothing I can do, but, if you want to organize them no matter what, even if you use force, it's not impossible. Hearing this, Madoka suddenly understood, and Kyubei on the side continued. If you want to intervene in this battle, you must be a magical girl, but you have the qualifications, if you really want to do that. Yes, as long as I make a contract. Madoka understood what Kyubei meant. Yes, Kyubei said that once he becomes a magical girl, he will become 100 times more powerful than Tomo Mami, so he can definitely stop the two of them. It's over. In the battlefield, Sayaka is defeated at this moment, and Kyoko is also holding a spear, intending to give Sayaka the final blow. However, just when Madoka was about to sign a contract with Kyubei to become a magical girl, suddenly a familiar voice came to everyone's ears. That's no need. The next moment, Akatsuki Homura appeared between Sayaka and Kyoko, and easily rescued Sayaka from Kyoko's spearhead. In response, many viewers in the world also called him so handsome. Most of the audience now understands that Xiao Mian is not the bad guy they originally expected. Now it seems that the problem is that cute, soft and mysterious creature Kyubei. This guy. Just like the personnel of a pyramid scheme organization, they are constantly inducing Madoka to become a magical girl. You can tell at a glance that it is definitely not a good thing. Although it looks like a cute pet on the surface, it is definitely not a good one. In the picture, the moment Kyoko saw Akatsuki Homura, she understood that this person was the supernumerary magical girl with unknown origins that Kyubei mentioned. Therefore, due to the arrival of Xiao Mian, Kyoko can only retreat temporarily. After all, no matter how strong she is, she may not be a match for the two of them. And the elusive Hzinzi just now is obviously not much worse than her in strength, and is even better than her. As the civil war comes to an end, it is clear that Akatsuki Homura showed up this time to prevent Madoka from signing a contract, and Akatsuki Homura once again emphasized that she will do whatever it takes to prevent Madoka from becoming a magical girl. Faced with Xiao Mian, who was so unabashedly against him, not only the Kyubei in the picture was puzzled, but also the countless Kyubeis watching the picture felt baffled at this moment. What is the intention of this Xiao Mian? Why do you have to stop Madoka from becoming a magical girl? To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. On the other side, since losing the battle with Kyoko, Sayaka's attitude has also become paranoid, and there is no room for maneuver in her relationship with Kyoko. But her strength is not as good as Kyoko, and the only lament seed in her hand has been used up. Now she is completely at a disadvantage. Therefore, Kyubei pointed out a clear path for Sayaka. As long as she makes Madoka, who has outstanding qualifications, become a magical girl and stands on her side, the balance of strength can be easily reversed. But Sayaka didn't want to involve Madoka, but when she thought of selfish guys like Kyoko and Homura Akatsuki, she felt resentful. So, after Sayaka vented her anger in front of Madoka, who tried to persuade her to make a truce with Kyoko, she finally understood. Only Miss Tomomomi is the ideal magical girl, everyone else is a scum even more despicable than a witch. In order to protect others, Sayaka does not hesitate to go to war with Kyoko. And Kyoko has no intention of letting the newcomers act a little bit, because as far as she knows, after 2 weeks, a disaster called Witch Night is about to befall the city. Witch Night. In this regard, the audience watching the picture and Madoka and others in the magical girl world couldn't help but be a little confused. They didn't understand what Witch Night was. But Madoka and the others didn't understand. Xiaomi Homura knew very well about the Night of Witches. The existence of night. In order to deal with the disaster of Witch Night, she reincarnated countless times. But in the end, she was not able to eliminate Witch Night and save Madoka. But perhaps there is a way to defeat Witch Night in the future scenes. In this regard, Xiao Mian felt a little expectation in her heart, but after remembering the evaluation of the previous characters, she felt deeply powerless. Could it be that, will Madoka finally become a magical girl? In the picture, due to the current enemy, Kyoko agreed to Xiao Mian's alliance request and prepared to work together to overcome this crisis. As for Sayaka, an unstable factor, Xiao Mian proposed to solve it on her behalf. However, Kyoko didn't listen to Xiaomi Homura's words, and even made an appointment with Sayaka on the rooftop. Just when the two of them were at war with each other, Kyubei and Madoka arrived to stop him in time. The elusive Akatsuki Homura also appeared, accusing Kyoko of not keeping her word, and even wanted to deal with Sayaka herself. As for her battle with Sayaka, she naturally felt that there would be no surprise in the outcome. Don't underestimate me. Looking at the two people talking to themselves in front of them, Sayaka took out her soul gem. However, just when Sayaka was about to transform into a magical girl, a sudden change occurred. Sayaka, I'm sorry. As the voice fell, Madoka suddenly snatched the soul gem from Sayaka's hand and threw it under the overpass. Because, Xiao Yuan has thought about it for a long time in the past few days, and also talked a lot with her mother, and Xiao Yuan realized that just having good intentions and working hard in a good direction may not necessarily yield the desired results, and sometimes decisive measures are needed. Extreme measures. But as soon as Madoka takes action, just messed up the matter. The camera is at a 5.4-fold angle, and the soul stone happens to fall on a passing large truck, and continues to leave as the truck goes away. Upon seeing this, Xiao Mian's expression suddenly changed, and her figure instantly disappeared from the spot, moving rapidly towards the large truck. Madoka, what have you done? Running to Madoka's side, Sayaka was about to complain about Madoka. However, suddenly Sayaka fell unconscious and fell into Madoka's arms. In this regard, many viewers also felt a little confused and didn't understand why this happened. Then, after hearing Kyubi's words, everyone's expression suddenly changed. What you did just now was very bad, Madoka. Standing on the guardrail, Kyubei looked at Madoka in front of him and continued, it's so weird that you actually threw your friend out. What? What's wrong? Hearing this, Madoka's face was filled with confusion. On the other side, Kyoko suddenly ran over and grabbed Sayaka's neck. After feeling something, Kyoko's pupils continued to shrink. What's going on? Hello, isn't this guy dead? Moment. Kyoko's words were like a bolt of thunder and lightning, hitting the minds of Madoka and countless viewers from all over the world. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 284. Varied, what's the meaning? Sayaka is dead. At this moment, many viewers in the world widened their eyes, looking at Sayaka in the picture in disbelief, and suddenly felt a little cold all over their bodies. What's happening here? How come everything is so fine, but Sayaka is dead? Disaster, it's unbelievable, how did Sayaka die? In the world of pirates, Chopper looked at Sayaka whose eyes had lost their luster in the picture. He couldn't help but swallowed his saliva and felt unprecedentedly incredible in his heart. As a doctor, when he saw Sayaka's eyes, Chopper immediately judged that Kyoko's words were correct. At this moment, Sayaka felt like a dead person, not even the slightest movement of her body. To know, when a person falls into a coma or sleeps, he can breathe on his own. However, Sayaka could no longer see her breathing movements at this moment, and she looked like a corpse. Isn't this situation exactly the same as when I transformed into a god of death? In the world of death, Kurosaki Ichigo couldn't help but widen his eyes as he looked at the scene in front of him. You know, in their world, as a human being, he needs to use the death agent certificate to transform into the god of death. Once his soul leaves his body, he takes the form of the god of death. Your body will also fall into a death-like situation. At that time, he needs to take a small pill with a soul to temporarily replace his identity. It seems, the so-called soul gem is the soul of a magical girl, and once the soul is lost, the magical girl will die. In Hueco Mundo, the corners of Aizen's mouth rose slightly, and he instantly recognized the situation at this moment. For him, a scientist who has studied the Shinigami and Hollows for many years, this situation is really like child's play. At the same time, in the world of Madoka Magica, what's going on? Will I kill Sayaka in the future? At this moment, Madoka's face turned pale, and she felt guilty as never before. On the side, Sayaka's face also changed suddenly. She couldn't believe what was happening in front of her. Will my future self be lost because of Madoka? But why? Obviously nothing happened. Why did my future me die all of a sudden? Not only Madoka and the others, but even the seniors and Kyoko who were watching the scene didn't know what was going on, and the expressions on their faces were extremely confused. And the only ones who know the truth are Kyubei, Xiaomian and others. Sayaka, hello, Sayaka, wake up. The picture continued to play, shaking Sayaka, who fell to the ground. Madoka's voice was filled with unprecedented fear. She didn't understand. She just threw Sayaka's soul gem away. Why did Sayaka become like this? What the hell happened? Hey, besides, Kyoko's eyes showed a fierce look, and she asked Kyubei beside her. You magical girls can control the range of your body up to 100 meters. In response, Kyubei's face was extremely calm, and his faint voice suddenly reached everyone's ears. 100 meters? What are you saying? What does it mean? Of course I always carry it with me everywhere, and accidents like this rarely happen. Regarding the conversation between the two, Madoka on the side couldn't help but shouted anxiously, what are you talking about, Kyubei? Save her, don't let Sayaka die. In this regard, Kyubei said that the one lying on the ground was not Sayaka, but just an empty shell. Wasn't the real Sayaka thrown away by Madoka just now? Because Kyubei cannot allow magical girls to fight witches with bodies that are as easily damaged as ordinary humans. For magical girls, the original body is just an external thing, and their soul, which is their original body, has been streamlined into one that can use magic more efficiently. Safe form. In other words, once a contract is made with Kyubei, their souls will be extracted by him and transformed into soul gems. In this way, the body becomes an empty shell controlled by the soul gem. Although the control radius is only 100 meters, as long as the gem is not damaged, the body can withstand a considerable degree of trauma. Compared with humans who are full of weaknesses, this is more suitable for fighting the witch. And this is also an efficient, reasonable, and safe approach. But every time Kyubei said it truthfully, these magical girls couldn't accept it. So in the end it can only be like this, you don't ask, I don't tell, this is good for everyone. Moreover, aren't all your wishes actually fulfilled by miracles? This moment, not only the people in the picture, but also many viewers in the world can't accept it. Becoming a magical girl will actually make you lose your qualifications as a human being. This is so sad. But many people also think this is quite good. After all, once you suffer serious damage in battle, you can recover it through magic. Anyway, it's you who controls your consciousness and body, so isn't that enough? Is it like this? In the world of Madoka Magica, Tomomomi, Madoka, Sayaka and most of the magical girls are staring at Kyubei in the picture at this moment. Unimaginable. Such heartless words would actually come out of this Kyubei's mouth. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. This is too disappointing. Obviously they regard Kyubei as their friend, but it actually treats them like this. And countless Kyubeis looked at the scene in front of them and felt deeply helpless. They didn't understand why humans care so much about the whereabouts of their souls. Obviously this method is the most efficient way. As the scene continues to play, Akatsuki Homura finally gets back the soul gem that was taken away by the truck, and Sayaka wakes up again because of the return of the soul gem. After that, Sayaka also learned what happened. You lied to us. Regarding Sayaka's words, Kyubei showed extreme indifference. Without any guilt, I have asked for your opinion on whether to become a magical girl, although I have omitted to explain the truth. How can we say that something that you and I agree on is a lie? Faced with this unscrupulous vendor who is completely indifferent to human values and sells miracles everywhere, Sayaka, the audience in the world, and even Tomomomi in the world of Madoka Magica are helpless at this moment. Yes. This will indeed make the battle more efficient. But why do I feel so uncomfortable in my heart? The scene continued to play, and Kyoko found Sayaka the next day and told her her story in an uncharacteristically friendly manner. In fact, Kyoko, like Sayaka, also made wishes for others and became a magical girl. Kyoko's father is a frustrated priest. In order to save the poor family and depressed father, Kyoko and Kyubei made a contract and saved her father's career. But not long after, Kyoko's little trick was discovered by her father. He angrily denounced his daughter as a witch, and finally suffered a mental breakdown and committed suicide with the rest of the family. After that incident, Kyoko also realized that imposing good intentions on your own will only lead to unfortunate results. When Kyoko met Sayaka, she seemed to see her past self, so this is why Kyoko doesn't like Sayaka. But Kyoko's roots are not bad. Now that the truth about the Soul Stone has been exposed, everyone is in the same boat. She knows that Sayaka will not end well if she continues like this, so she hopes she will not make the same mistakes she did. And Kyoko reminds Sayaka that no matter how great the miracle is, there will be great despair. Becoming a magical girl is already a big sacrifice, so don't force yourself anymore. However, when faced with Kyoko's words, Sayaka was paranoid and wanted to take a breath, saying that she became a magical girl because she sincerely wanted to help others, and she has never regretted it. If Kyoko thinks it's an eyesore, just kill her. She won't hide, run away or admit defeat, let alone hate Kyoko. After saying that, Sayaka left to herself 283. However, no matter how hard Sayaka holds on, real life always reminds her that people are usually more fragile than they think. When school was over the next day, Sayaka was asked out by Hitomi, a classmate who had saved her before. The other person said that she had always had a crush on Kyosuke, but she also knew that Sayaka loved Kyosuke first. So Hitomi was not willing to fight for love and told Sayaka, I will confess my love tomorrow afternoon. And at this point, most of the viewers understood that Hitomi was setting aside a day for Sayaka to confess her love to Kyosuke first. After all, Sayaka did not hesitate to become a magical girl in order to heal Kyosuke. Even if the other party doesn't know Sayaka's efforts, at least he should let Sayaka strive for her own happiness. Looking at the scene in front of him, Kyosuke in Madoka Magica's world also had mixed emotions at the moment, and felt extremely irritable. He doesn't know what he thinks about Sayaka. But in the future, Sayaka has done so much for him, and he needs to have an expression. In the picture, facing the fact that her sweetheart is about to be snatched away, Sayaka feels helpless and ashamed. What made her even more heartbroken was that she had saved Hitomi and Madoka in the first battle when she became a magical girl, but now she felt for a moment that it would be great if Hitomi had died at that time. This inner selfishness, coupled with the fact that he can no longer be called a human at this moment, makes Sayaka feel disgusted with herself. After that, Sayaka began a self-defeating battle regardless of pain and cost. Even with Madoka's kind words, Sayaka expressed her disgust. If Madoka really cared about her, why shouldn't she be a magical girl? You must know that Xiao Yuan has the qualification of being 1 in a million. After putting aside her harsh words, Sayaka left Madoka. Since then, Madoka has never seen Sayaka again, and after leaving Sayaka, Madoka met Kyubei again. Although Kyubei is no longer a partner in Madoka's eyes, but wanting Sayaka's accusation, Madoka can't help but ask Kyubei if she becomes a magical girl, can she save Sayaka? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 285. Looking at this scene, many viewers from all dimensions began to discuss, each having their own opinions on Madoka's thoughts. But most people still want Madoka to rescue Sayaka. After all, although she is a little paranoid, she is not bad in nature. Why does Madoka always want to save others? Why doesn't she think about herself first? Sayaka has now fallen into a paranoid direction. If no one helps her, something bad may happen. I miss Tomoasami so much. I wonder if Madoka can save her. Upstairs, don't think I don't know what you are thinking, Miss Tama, my mommy is mine. Didn't Xiao Mian say before that there is no way for dead people to be resurrected? Is this what it looks like? Didn't Kyubei say that any miracle can be achieved? Tisk, I thought it was so awesome, but I didn't expect that it can't even resurrect people. This is too lame. I don't know why, but I don't really want Madoka to become a magical girl. I feel that her ending may not be too good in the end. On the screen, countless barrages passed by. Some people hoped that Madoka would think about herself first, some hoped to resurrect Miss Tomomomi, and some began to worry about Madoka's ending. At the same time, in the world of Madoka Magica, Madoka and senior sister were silent at this moment, not knowing what to say. They didn't know how to persuade Sayaka's thoughts. After all, if you don't make a wish, Sayaka's childhood sweetheart Kyosuke will self-mutilate because the scar on his left hand cannot be healed. And if Sayaka makes a wish, she will become a magical girl and lose her qualifications as a human. Sayaka also felt extremely strange to herself in the picture. What happened in the future made her feel that it was no longer herself. She doesn't want to live that kind of life, she wants to live well as a human being. But what should Kyosuke do? On the other side, Kyosuke in the hospital also felt a little sad at the moment, although he would be very happy if his hand could heal. But if that means saying Sayaka loses her qualifications as a human being and leads her down a dangerous path, he would rather his left hand never healed. The screen continued to play. Kyubei said that he had reservations about Madoka's extraordinary qualifications before. In fact, although he didn't know why, if Madoka became a magical girl, her strength would be beyond imagination. Correspondingly, wishes that can be realized are not just ordinary miracles, even wishes that distort the laws of the universe can be easily achieved, as long as Madoka is willing. However, just when Madoka was about to sign a contract with Kyubei, boom! Suddenly, as the screen went dark, dozens of bullets instantly penetrated Kyubei's body, leaving dozens of bloody holes in it. As soon as the camera turned, Xiao Mian's figure suddenly appeared not far away, and a pistol and dozens of eggshells suddenly fell on the ground. It's too much. I shouldn't kill it no matter what. Regarding the scene in front of her, Madoka's expression was extremely frightened, and her voice was slightly trembling. Why do you always sacrifice yourself like this? It's useless, meaningless, and so on. Don't not cherish yourself casually. Think more about the people who value you. You have to stop in moderation. Without responding to Madoka's words, Xiao Mian suddenly came to Madoka and put her hands on her shoulders. The expression on her face quietly changed at this moment, her voice was also filled with sadness, and her tears were at this moment. Keep falling down. If I lose you, someone will be sad. Why can't you notice it? What should the people who want to protect you do? Looking at Xiaomei Homura, who was completely different from usual, not only Madoka was stunned at this moment, but also many viewers in the world felt baffled at this moment. This Xiaomei Homura. Is there any serious illness? Although that Kyubei is an unscrupulous guy, you don't have to kill him, right? Moreover, he looked expressionless just now, why is he crying all of a sudden now? Homura, where we were, have we met somewhere, me and you? In the picture, looking at Akatsuki Homura, who was hesitant to speak on the ground, Madoka couldn't help but think of Sayaka, and then said that she was going to find Sayaka. Wait, Sayaka Miki has already? In response, Xiaomian tried to call out to Madoka who was leaving, but her figure had already left quickly, without paying any attention to Xiaomian's words. Turn out to be. Some time ago, Akatsuki Homura and Kyoko were discussing the countermeasures for Witch Night, but Kyubei shyly interfered in the conversation between the two. Kyubei told them that Sayaka was on the verge of despair, which caused a curse to be produced in the soul gem, which intensified the consumption of magic power. If left unchecked, big trouble might be caused at the upcoming juncture of Witch Night. However, Kyoko said that this was actually a bit strange. Just consume it, why is there still such a big trouble? Without answering Kyoko's question, Kyubei looked at Xiaomian. That's it, you'll understand naturally. And Akatsuki Homura seemed to have a tacit understanding that satisfied Kyubei, so she immediately went to find Sayaka. At this moment, Sayaka happened to see Hitomi and Kyosuke having a happy conversation, and thought that Hitomi's confession was successful. So Sayaka gave up on herself and consumed her magic power. She also refused the lament seed given by Xiaomi Homura, and said that how could Xiaomi Homura really save people if he was so unconventional. Hearing this, Akatsuki Homura also realized that there was no way to save Sayaka, so she simply confessed everything, to read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Xiaomi Homura just doesn't want Madoka to see her friend's depravity. If Sayaka doesn't want to live, just die now. But just when Xiaomian was about to attack Sayaka, she was stopped by Kyoko who came over. Moreover, Kyoko felt that something was wrong with Xiaomian. She obviously wanted to save people, but now she turned into murder. As a result, Sayaka escaped under the eyes of Akatsuki Homura, but Akatsuki easily broke away from Kyoko and continued to look for Sayaka. On the way to find Sayaka, Akatsuki Homura discovered that Kyubei had begun to seduce Madoka into becoming a magical girl, so she appeared and killed Kyubei. In response to this, Madoka, Sayaka, and their seniors looked a little uncomfortable as they watched the scene, and there was a feeling of uneasiness in their hearts. With Sayaka's paranoid look, she might do something stupid. You obviously know it's useless, but you really don't have a long memory. The scene continued to play, and Kyubei's voice suddenly reached everyone's ears, which surprised many viewers. Wasn't that guy beaten into a sieve? Why is his voice coming out again now? Although some of them are replaceable, I would still feel troubled if they were destroyed for no reason. It would be such a waste. In the picture, Kyubei's body is in darkness, and only a pair of red eyes are reflected in everyone's eyes, which makes many people shudder. After that, the new Kyubei eats his original beaten body. He put it in his mouth, and then said that he had seen through Xiaomian's moves. It should be some kind of magic that controls time, and he also pointed out that Xiaomian was not from this time period. And Xiaomian was not to be outdone. She called Kyubei the incubator and said that she would never let her conspiracy succeed. On the other hand, Kyoko fell to the ground and found Sayaka, who was already in a very abnormal mental state. At this moment, Sayaka's hand holding the soul gem that has become completely turbid. The balance of hope and despair cancels to zero, you once said that. I can deeply understand this now. Recalling what Kyoko once said, Sayaka understood a lot at this moment, and then continued. It is true that I have saved many people. But I also accumulated corresponding resentment and jealousy in my heart, and I also hurt my most important friend. If you pray for someone's happiness, you have to curse others in equal measure. This is the structure of our magical girls. Sayaka, are you, as Sayaka's words combined with the state of the soul gem, Kyoko's pupils suddenly shook, and she felt uneasy like never before. What a fool. As the voice fell, Sayaka's tears suddenly dropped onto the turbid soul gem in her hand. Boom. Moment, the entire space suddenly changed at this moment, and an extremely evil and terrifying aura continued to permeate the air. The strong power suddenly blasted Kyoko's body away, making countless righteous beings fearful, and the evil aura enveloped the world. Boom! As the soul gem in Sayaka's hand shattered instantly, her body suddenly underwent a strong change. The strong aura continued to expand at this moment, and the black thunder continued to wreak havoc at this moment, destroying everything around her. Of destruction. It's over. In this horrific scene, the audience from all over the world and the magical girls in the world of Madoka Magica all understood the changes that had happened to Sayaka. This evil breath. It's a witch. When the camera turned, Kyuubi's eyes were quietly looking at the dark city on the high-altitude buildings in the whole city, and the dull voice suddenly fell. In this country, growing women are called girls, so you who will eventually become witches should be called magical girls. At this moment, after hearing Kyuubi's words, all the audience understood the situation in front of them. This Kyuubi, that's too abominable. What kind of bullshit magical girl, Shen? All of this is a conspiracy. Those so-called magical girls will eventually become witches. At the same time, in the world of Madoka Magica. At this moment, the faces of Madoka, Sayaka, Tomomomi, and countless magical girls suddenly changed, and their eyes kept shaking at this moment. The end of a magical girl. Turned into a witch? So what is the point of them destroying the witch? Hateful, I will definitely stop you, and I won't let you succeed no matter what, Hatch. Located somewhere in the school, Xiao Mian's eyes were extremely cold, and a strong murderous intention surged into her heart. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 286. The scene continued to play, and Kyoko witnessed Sayaka's transformation into a witch. The soul gem shattered and turned into a seed of lamentation, from which the mermaid witch was born. Kyoko was also involved in the maze on the spot. Bang 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 bang. Dodging the attacks launched by the mermaid witch, Kyoko stepped forward suddenly and hugged Sayaka in mid-air. At the same time. Ah! Suddenly, the mermaid witch let out an extremely miserable cry, and the evil aura continued to spurt out at this moment, as if Kyoko had encountered some taboo. What on earth are you? What did you do to Sayaka? As Xingza's voice fell, an overwhelming and fierce offensive came towards Xingza in an instant, making her become extremely embarrassed. Back off. Suddenly, Xiao Mian's figure appeared in everyone's eyes. Her figure was like a ghost. No one knew when she came. Whoops! In a blink of an eye, Xiao Mian's figure disappeared. In place. At the same time, a grenade appeared in front of the mermaid witch. Boom! The next second, a deafening sound suddenly sounded. The terrifying power blocked the witch's offensive, and the thick smoke continued to spread. Catch me! Arriving in front of Kyoko, Xiao Mian stretched out her hand and motioned for her to grab it. As Kyoko's arm held Xiao Mian, the shield on Xiao Mian's left hand suddenly burst out with an extremely powerful force. With the power, the whole world fell silent at this moment. Except for Xiao Mian and others, the movement of everything stopped at this moment. This guy is. As time stopped, Kyoko looked at the mermaid witch holding a long sword in front of her, and an incredible thought came to her mind. If you let go of my hand, your time will stop, be careful. As the voice fell, Xiao Mian took Kyoko's hand and started running towards the outside of the maze. What's going on? What is that witch? Regarding the incredible thoughts in her heart, Kyoko couldn't help but ask Xiao Mian. It's the person who was once called Miki Sayaka. Haven't you seen it? Want to escape? If you don't want to, throw away the extra luggage and kill the witch now, if you can. Do not make jokes. Now you can only push back, so retreat temporarily. As the conversation between the two ended, they finally escaped from the maze and returned to the real world. At this moment, looking at the scene in front of them, countless spectators from all over the world felt extremely shocked. Especially the powerful people in the world who have the ability to stop time or similar abilities feel incredible at this moment. Such as Hit in the Dragon Ball world, Dio in the JoJo world, Amber from the Black Contractor. At this moment, they all felt unbelievable. Damn it, their abilities can only stop for a short time, or jump for a very short time. But this guy was able to stop time for so long, and was able to calmly escape with others. How many seconds can this girl stop time? Could it be that she has mastered the power of time? But why does this terrifying ability appear in her body? This is incredible. In the scene, as Akatsuki Homura rescued Kyoko and Sayaka from the maze, they also met Madoka, who was looking for Sayaka. Sayaka, what happened to Sayaka? Looking blankly at Sayaka in Kyoko's arms, Madoka couldn't help but widen her eyes and ran towards her in disbelief. In response to this, Kyoko's eyes flashed with sadness. Hey, where's the soul gem? What happened to Sayaka? Looking at the bewildered Madoka, Xiaomi Homura said after her soul gem turned into a seed of lamentation, a witch was born and was destroyed. That is that a lie? Hearing this, Xiao Yuan's eyes suddenly shrank, and a sense of powerlessness came over her whole body. She collapsed on the ground, with an extremely dull expression on her face. It's true, that's the last secret of the soul stone. Slowly taking out her soul gem that glowed pink, Xiao Mian then said, when this gem is stained and turns black, we will become seeds of lament and be reincarnated as witches. This is the fate that those who become magical girls cannot escape. Lie, it's a lie. Hey. Standing up and looking into Akatsuki Homura's eyes, Madoka's desperate voice came out. As the train whizzed past, Madoka's body suddenly fell to her knees weakly, tears flowing continuously at this moment. No, why? Sayaka wanted to protect humans from witches and become a partner of justice. She wanted to become a magical girl, but she didn't. She bears a curse equal to that prayer. As many people as she has saved, she will assassinate as many people as she wants from now on. In response, Xiao Mian's face was extremely calm and she told the truth calmly. Putting Sayaka's body down, Kyoko suddenly grabbed Xiao Mian's collar and asked her angrily, who do you think you are? Do you want to call yourself a know-it-all? Why do you speak so proudly? This guy belongs to Sayaka, Sayaka's good friend. Ignoring Kyoko's question, Xiao Mian turned her gaze to Madoka, and a plain voice came from her mouth. You finally understand this time, right? What does the thing you long for really look like? At this moment, both Madoka in the picture and Madoka and Sayaka who were watching the picture understood at this moment. To read exciting novels, go to Phila Novel Network. Why did Xiao Mian try so hard to prevent them from becoming magical girls? If I'm not wrong, I guess she doesn't want them to take the path of magical girls. That road will eventually bring misfortune. Damn Kyubei. At this moment, after realizing the truth of the matter, Tomomomi and others glared at Kyubei, and a strong murderous intention emerged in their hearts. If this guy hadn't tricked them into becoming magical girls, this wouldn't have happened. Such a thing. If they knew the truth of the matter, they would not become magical girls even if they died. Hateful. I used to think it was disgusting that Xiao Mian tortured and killed the cute Kyubei, but I didn't expect that the hateful guy in the end was actually this Kyubei. In the world of Conan, Sanako was extremely angry at this moment and wanted to pull Kyubei out and beat him severely. Woo woo woo, Sayaka and Senpai, they are so pitiful. On the side, Ayumi couldn't help but cry, feeling extremely sad in her heart. Although she is very young, it does not mean that she does not understand anything. The cute creature in the previous picture is actually just an unscrupulous bastard, much worse than most bad guys. Damn it, I must beat it up hard. At this moment, the audience from countless worlds couldn't help roaring and clenching their fists tightly at this moment. Among them, Luffy from the pirate world, Naruto from the Naruto world, Natsu from the fairy tale world, and Death Kurosaki Ichigo in the world, Guojing in the Condor world, Yangguo in the Condor world, Huamulan in the King's world, Hu Tao in the Genshin Impact world, Xiaoyan in the Fighting world, Lin Dong in the Martial Arts world, and One Leaf covers the sky in the world Yefan, and so on. If possible, they hope to catch all the Kyubeis, beat them up severely, and finally put them into a frying pan to fry. Not only Madoka and others, but also countless viewers in the world are feeling angry and extremely confused at the same time. Why? Why should Xiaomi Homura try so hard to stop Madoka and the others? It seems like Madoka doesn't have much interaction with her, right? Moreover, when Sayaka turned into a magical girl, Akatsuki Homura didn't have many emotional changes. Instead, she tried her best to stop Madoka. What is the reason for this? And just when everyone was confused, Xiaomian and others in the picture also broke up unhappy, and the camera came to Madoka's home. "Can I come in? I have something to say." At the window, Kyubei's figure appeared in front of everyone's eyes. "You are still alive, is what Xiao Yan said true? There are no errors that need to be corrected? Then you let everyone be magical girls in order to turn everyone into witches. Although I hope you don't misunderstand, we don't do this with any ill intentions towards human beings. Everything is done to extend the life of the universe." Regarding Madoka's words, Kyubei couldn't help but defended Madoka. "Do you know the word entropy? To use a simple analogy, the energy obtained from lighting a campfire is not commensurate with the labor spent on cultivating trees. Energy is undergoing form. There will be losses during conversion, and the entire energy of the universe evaporates in one direction. Therefore, we came to look for energy that is not bound by the laws of thermodynamics, and what we found was the magic power of magical girls." "Who are you?" At this moment, after listening to Kyubei's sophistry, Madoka couldn't help but look up at Kyubei. "Our civilization has invented the technology to convert the emotions of intelligent life forms into energy. However, the irony is that we ourselves have no such thing as emotions, so we investigated various races in the universe, and then found you humans. Taking the number of human beings and their reproductive capacity as parameters, the emotional energy a human being can produce exceeds the energy required for the birth and growth of an individual. Your soul is enough to become an energy source that subverts entropy. The highest extraction efficiency is the phase transfer between hope and despair of girls in the second sexual period. The moment your souls become soul gems and become seeds of lament, a huge amount of energy will be released. It is the task of our incubators to recover that energy." At this moment, many viewers in the world didn't understand Kyubei's explanation, but they thought it was very powerful. Even for a moment, they felt that Kyubei should be the righteous party. "Are we expendable? Do you want us to die for you?" In the picture, Madoka's extremely sad voice came out, and she felt unprecedentedly confused in her heart. Most of the audience agrees with Madoka's words. In the end, girls like Madoka and the others. They are just consumables for Kyubei and the others. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 287. Do you know how many civilizations are competing with each other in this universe, and how much energy is consumed in an instant? Looking at Madoka's figure in the screen, Kyubei's voice then came out. "You humans will one day leave this planet and become our companions. By then, you won't be happy if an exhausted universe is handed over to you, right? In the long run, this should also be a beneficial transaction for you. Stop talking nonsense." Just because of that inexplicable reason, Asami-san died, and that happened to Sayaka. It's too much, it's too much. We at least made the contract based on your consent. This should be enough to be conscientious. Kyubei felt a little confused about this. It was obviously very fair. Everyone was just deceived, right? We can't understand the act of cheating. When we regret the errors in judgment caused by cognitive differences, We don't know why humans want to hate others. For Kyubei's words, not only Madoka can't agree with it, but also most of the audience in the world can't agree with it. This unscrupulous traitor. It only explains the benefits, but does not explain the price to pay and the risks to be taken. Dash. This is clearly taking advantage of the information gap to mislead an ignorant girl. Your human value benchmark gives us a headache to understand. There are now 6.9 billion people, and one person is added every 4 seconds. Why are you so commotion over the life and death of a single individual? Kyubei in the picture is confused by the disagreement with Madoka. Obviously. It only sacrificed a very small number of girls. Why did Madoka and the others react so strongly? Madoka, one day you will become the best magical girl and then the most evil witch. At that time, we should have access to an unprecedented amount of energy. If you want to die for this universe, you can come to me at any time. I am waiting for you. Finally, as Kyubei once again extended an invitation to Madoka to become a magical girl, her figure gradually disappeared from everyone's sight. As the scene continued to change, Kyoko found Madoka the next day, hoping to help. Kyoko originally wanted to be a magical girl who brought happiness to others, just like Sayaka, but fate was always playing tricks on them. And it was precisely because Sayaka reminded Kyoko of this original intention that she wanted to try to save Sayaka again. Because Kyoko feels that although Sayaka has become a witch, she may have retained her previous memories, and maybe she can recognize Madoka and be saved. Madoka also felt very much in agreement with this, so the two came to the mermaid witch again. Sayaka, it's me, I'm Madoka. Can you hear me? Remember my voice? Sayaka, stop it, please, think about it quickly. Sayaka, you should also hate this kind of thing, right? However, facing Madoka's constant calls, the mermaid witch did not waver at all, and even launched a series of fierce attacks against them. Kyoko could only passively resist the witch's attacks, and the scars on her body became more and more serious, and she gradually suffered serious injuries. At the critical moment, Xiao Mian came to rescue the two, but Kyoko asked her to take Madoka away. In the end, Kyoko holds on to her last hope and dies together with Sayaka, who turns into a witch. After Kyoko died in the battle, Sayaka's body was soon discovered, and Madoka attended the memorial service. After returning home, Kyubei further showed her the relationship between incubators and humans. Kyubei used livestock as an example. Although the journey of livestock from pasture to table is not without its bloody. However, as the prerequisite for human food, domestic animals have avoided cruel natural selection and achieved reproductive efficiency that far exceeds that of wild animals. Isn't this an ideal symbiotic relationship? And the incubators have made quite a few concessions to humans. At least, all magical girls enter into contracts voluntarily. In fact, since the beginning of human history, incubators have begun to interfere with human beings. Countless magical girls in the long history have repeated the tragedies they were destined to have after being born from hope. And the miracles they initiated when they became magical girls were actually, it is the main reason for promoting human progress. You must know that it is difficult for a race with emotions to survive in the universe. If it were not for the intervention of the incubators, I am afraid that humans would still be in the stage of sucking hair and drinking blood. After that, Madoka came to Akatsuki Homura's home, and after learning that Witch Night was very dangerous, she offered to become a magical girl to help Akatsuki Homura. Xiao Mian refused, claiming that she could handle it alone. And for some reason Madoka couldn't believe this in her heart. In the end, Xiao Mian couldn't help but confide to Madoka that she actually came from the future. She kept repeating this month, constantly looking for an answer. How can I save Madoka, my only friend? As soon as the camera turned, a girl with 2 braids and red glasses who looked like a village girl appeared in the eyes of everyone in the world. At this moment, everyone recognized this person's identity. She is Xiao Mian. But what is going on? Isn't Xiao Mian a cold, straight, black goddess who doesn't allow strangers to enter? What's the situation now? Why do you look so shy and let everyone pick you out? However, some people who looked at the inventory screen with their brains seemed to understand something. Especially the male protagonist Liang Yu in Life in a Different World from Zero. At this moment, I felt even more sympathy for Xiao Mian. If my guess is correct, Xiao Mian should be experiencing a similar situation to him. And this situation is called infinite reincarnation. The scene continues to play. It turned out that Xiao Mian was a delicate girl with congenital heart disease. However, after transferring to school, she met the kind and enthusiastic Madoka. Long-term bed rest caused her physical and academic backwardness, which made Xiao Mian feel inferior. On the way out of school, Xiao Mian walked on the streets at dusk with a disappointed look on her face. Madoka's previous encouragement to her rang in her mind. It's impossible. I can't do anything. I will only embarrass others and cause trouble. Why? Will I continue like this forever? However, faced with Xiao Mian's self-doubt, an extremely strange female voice suddenly sounded in the ears of Xiao Mian and everyone in the world. In that case, it would be better to just die. Just die. Died, is that okay? Hearing this, Xiao Mian couldn't help but murmur, but as the words fell, her pupils suddenly trembled, and she looked around in great panic. She saw that what caught everyone's eyes was no longer the original road after school, to read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Instead, it is a strange space, the ground is covered with strange patterns, and the sky is covered with red and yellow swirls of oil paintings, which is chilling. Here, where is it? However, just when Xiao Mian was confused, boom! In an instant, an ancient gate like an oil painting suddenly grew out of the ground, just like an ancient architectural triumphal arch, which made Xiao Mian and many viewers feel fear. After that, there were several humanoid creatures with extremely weird paintings walking towards Xiao Mian inside the gate. There is no doubt that this is a witch. What is this? No. In the picture, Xiao Mian looked at the strange humanoid creature that was constantly advancing, and couldn't help but take a few steps back and collapsed on the ground. Fortunately, in the moment of crisis. Bang bang bang. Whoosh. In an instant, gunshots and the sound of bows and arrows piercing the air rang out, wiping out all those strange creatures. The people who came were surprisingly Tomo Asami and Madoka. It's okay, Homura. Looking at Xiaomi Homura on the ground, Madoka showed a reassuring smile. You are. Looking at the two people in strange costumes, Xiao Mian couldn't help but feel confused. They are magical girls, witch hunters. In this regard, Kyubei who came over explained to Xiao Mian. The secret was revealed all of a sudden, so keep it a secret from the classmates. As Madoka's voice fell, she and Miss Tomomomi took action together to completely defeat the witch in front of them. At this point, the audience from all over the world couldn't help but feel puzzled. What's the situation? How did Madoka become a magical girl? Is this a Zayamai situation? The timeline is completely wrong. Even Madoka, Sayaka, and seniors in the magical girl world are puzzled by this, and don't understand why such a strange scene appears. Not only that, even Kyubei felt confused and noticed something was wrong. Madoka's qualifications. Why does it look so mediocre? There is no way to compare with the current qualifications. As the scene continued to play, the camera came to the senior sister's home. Shikame-san, have you been fighting those things all this time? Looking at Madoka in front of her, Xiao Mian couldn't help but ask. It's not like she's always here, Mommy-san is a veteran, and I just signed the contract with Kyubei last week. Are you scared? It's not okay, sometimes I'm scared, but if I defeat the witch, I can save many people, so it's worth doing. In this regard, Madoka couldn't help but said with a smile. At this moment, the strong and kind-hearted Madoka couldn't help but make everyone feel a little dazed, but she was extremely heartbroken. What if she knew the truth of the matter? Afterwards, Miss Tomomomi said that although Madoka is already very powerful, it is best to become stronger before the arrival of Witch Knight. After all, Witch Knight is countless times more powerful than the witches we usually encounter. However, as the picture suddenly changed, Witch Knight is coming. And the scene in front of me was exactly the same as the scene in Xiao Yuan's dream before. Then there I go. Looking at Xiao Mian's figure, Madoka said firmly. Why, even the senior sister is dead. Looking at the body of the senior sister on the ground, Xiao Mian couldn't help but feel sad. Homura, I'm very happy to be your friend. I feel very proud to be able to save you from the witch, so I think it's great to be a magical girl. Hearing this, many viewers couldn't help but feel a little sad, and hated Kyubei even more. Billion. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 288. Looking at the scene in front of them, countless spectators from all over the world began to curse Kyubei on the barrage. Kyubei, fuck you, Grandma Lee gave birth to a baby without an asshole. Damn Kyubei, how dare you deceive Madoka, it's so abominable. Woohoo, my poor Madoka, if she knew the truth of everything at this moment, I wonder if she would regret becoming a magical girl. Senior sister died again, my poor senior, Madoka, you must live. Damn it, fuck you about the cosmic energy, I just want Madoka and the others to live peacefully. Stupid dog Kyubei, stupid Pikupi, I'm going to fuck you, I will never let you succeed. Now I just want to study 100 ways to eat Kyubei, such as hot pot Kyubei, barbecue Kyubei, sliced Kyubei, fried Kyubei, raw gelatin Kyubei. At the same time, in the world of Madoka Magica. Looking at the barrage of insults, Kyubei's face showed no expression at all, as calm as ever. After all, it didn't feel the slightest psychological burden on these barrages. What it's curious about is why it doesn't have any of these memories. Goodbye, Homura, take care of yourself. In the painting 030, as the sound fell, Madoka's footsteps suddenly moved towards the witch, and her body suddenly ejected. The result can be imagined. Because Madoka's strength was too different from that of the witch, she died quickly in battle. But because of Madoka's dying counterattack, the Night of Witches receded. Why, I knew I was going to die. Rather than saving people like me, I obviously want you to live. Looking at Madoka's body, Xiaomi Homura couldn't help crying, feeling extremely sad in her heart. Looking at the ruins of the city in the picture, the magical girls in the world of Madoka Magica were frightened. Although they were in at the beginning, I saw Witch Knight from Madoka's dream, but I didn't expect that she would be so powerful. This is too scary. At the same time, looking at his dead self, Tomo Asami, Shikame Madoka, and Sayaka couldn't help but look pale, and their whole bodies couldn't help but tremble. Why? How could this Witch of the Night be so powerful? Do you really mean what you said? Xiao Mian. At the same time, just when Xiao Mian felt extremely sad and desperate in the picture, Kyubei's figure appeared, and a familiar voice sounded again, are you willing to risk your soul for that prayer? If you have a wish that you want to realize, even if you accept the fate of fighting, I can help you. If I make a contract with you, can any wish come true? At this moment, Xiao Mian suddenly raised her head and looked at Kyubei, and hope could not help but emerge in her heart. I think so, you seem to have that qualification, try to tell me, what kind of prayer do you want to use to make the soul stone shine? Wiping the tears on her face, Xiao Mian stood up suddenly and turned her eyes to Kyubei, I want to meet Shikame-san again, not as the me who is protected by her, but as the me who protects her. Buzz. As Xiao Mian's voice fell, a purple light suddenly emerged from her chest, and then slowly flew up into the air. The contract is made, your prayers overcome entropy, come, try to release that new power. Looking at the purple light in the air, Qiubei's voice contained a hint of expectation. Buzz. As Xiao Mian held the purple light in the air in her hand, a strange power continued to emerge at this moment. A round shield seemed to have been activated by some mechanism at this moment, constantly crossing a strange space. The next moment, time keeps going backwards at this moment, and the world begins to restart. At this moment, the audience in all major dimensions felt extremely shocked and could not imagine the scene in front of them. Some truly powerful people even felt it and swallowed their saliva, unable to believe the scene in front of them. And the most shocking one is Qiubei. If you guessed correctly, this power is the power of time. It is a power beyond the control of their clan, a powerful force that can turn back time and restart the world. The camera turned, and in an empty room, Xiao Mian suddenly opened her eyes and looked at everything around her in disbelief. Here it is. At this moment, after seeing the surrounding environment, Xiao Mian understood where she was now, and after looking at the calendar on the wall. I haven't been discharged from hospital yet. However, just when Xiao Mian thought that everything that happened before was a dream, she suddenly discovered the soul gem in her hand. At this moment, Xiao Mian knew the situation at this moment. She went back to the past, and it was still the time before she met Madoka. Not only Xiao Mian in the picture, but also countless viewers in the entire world were extremely shocked. Even the Angel Weiss in the Dragon Ball world felt incredible at this moment. That girl, he actually went back in time through Qiubei's wish. What a terrifying power. Even I can only rewind time by 3 minutes without the help of external force. This Qiubei's power is so powerful and terrifying. In the Dragon Ball world, the Angel Weiss looked at Xiao Mian who had returned to the past and felt extremely shocked. This kind of miracle is indeed comparable to the existence of a super dragon. However, I just don't know that Xiao Mian has become magical girls. Can they change the future? At the same time, after seeing this scene, Madoka instantly understood why she had had strange dreams before. Because those are not dreams. It was something that actually happened, but she just forgot about it. The scene continued to play, and Xiao Mian, who returned to the past, once again became a transfer student and came to the school, to read exciting novels. Go to Fila Novel Network. Hello everyone, my name is Xiao Mian, please give me your advice. As the words fell, Xiao Mian ignored the teacher's introduction and trotted to Madoka Shikame's side. She said to him with a very happy face, Shikame-san, I have also become a magical girl. Let's work hard together from now on. That. Madoka was a little overwhelmed by this and lowered her head shyly. Later, Homura Akatsuki, who transformed into a magical girl, also participated in the training of magical girls. And Xiao Mian's ability is as seen before, she is a magical girl who can control time. Later, she made her own grenades and gained considerable combat power. However, even though the three of them worked together and managed to survive the Witch's Night, Madoka's soul gem became completely turbid. What's up, hello, Shikame-san, cheer up. Looking at Madoka struggling in pain on the ground, Xiaomei Homura's face was full of panic. 0.A. In Madoka's painful scream, her soul gem suddenly shattered, change became the seed of lamentation, and a terrifying energy continued to gather into a witch comparable to a small mountain. Why will this happen? Looking at the scene in front of her, Xiao Mian fell into despair again. At the same time, a strange power emerged from the shield in her hand again, and Xiao Mian returned to the past again with the power of time. This moment, countless powerful people were very surprised and felt very fearful of Xiao Mian's ability. This woman. possess the ability to do more than just stop time. Even, it's time to go backwards. Going back to the past is not because of her wish, but it gives her the power to go back in time freely. In other words, Xiao Mian can continue to reincarnate during this period of time until she reaches the ending she wants. This is too buggy. When the camera turned, Xiao Mian woke up from the hospital bed again, feeling extremely frightened in her heart. She understands the truth about it all. You have to tell them, everyone was deceived by Kyubei. However, as Xiao Mian revealed everything to Madoka and others, it was obvious that no one believed Xiao Mian. In fact, even Sayaka said impatiently at this moment. I said, what are the benefits of Tsubaisa's panic? Are you saying some strange things to us to sow discord? Is it possible, are you actually in the same group with that guy named Kyoko? No. No, in this regard, Akatsuki Homura quickly denied. Madoka said that Sayaka should calm down, making it seem like they were being provoked. In any case, I am against teaming up with this kid. Madoka and Asami also have long-range attacks, so it has no effect on me, but if something like this suddenly explodes in front of my eyes, I hope you can let me go a little bit. I almost got involved several times. Sayaka is extremely disgusted with Xiaomi Homura's abilities. After all, she is a melee player. It took nearly 4.6 bodies to fight the witch. Every time Xiaomi Homura suddenly detonated a bomb, and even she was almost involved. Does Xiaomi-san have no weapons other than bombs? At this time, Miss B.A. Mommy couldn't help but ask. Let me think. After thinking for a moment, I saw Xiao Mian's figure appearing next to a group of men in black, and using the power of stopping time to steal their firearms. Lie down, damn it, is this okay? At this moment, looking at the scene in front of them, the audience from all over the world could not help but widen their eyes. Even many powerful people looked confused. Damn it, this little girl actually used this ability to steal a firearm. How long can this thing stop for? This must have been at least several minutes, right? To know the duel between masters, it only takes a few seconds or even an instant. But this Xiao Mian is obviously so weak, but she can stop time for such a long time. This is a cruel thing. But, some viewers with ill intentions began to imagine. If they have this ability, can you do things you couldn't do before? Even some strong men will not be their opponents. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 289. As the picture continued to change, everything Xiao Mian said was confirmed one by one. Because, Miki Sayaka finally became a mermaid witch just like in the previous scene. Who are you and what did you do to Sayaka? Continuously resisting the witch's attacks, Sakura Kyoko shouted in disbelief to contain the mermaid witch. Sayaka, stop, please. Looking back, Sayaka should hate this kind of thing. In response to this, Madoka, who became a magical girl, was also very panicked, and was even hit by Sayaka who turned into a witch. However, fortunately, with the help of Akatsuki Homura, Madoka would not die under the attack of the mermaid witch. Sorry, Miki-san. Stop time, Xiao Mian threw the grenade on the mermaid witch and said helplessly. She understood. If I didn't do this, everyone would be here. Boom. As the stasis of time was lifted, the terrifying explosion instantly enveloped the witch turned Sayaka, and the fire rising into the sky continued to burn everything. As the witch was eliminated, everything returned to calm, and the surrounding space also dissipated. Boom. Hammering the railing hard, Kyoko's face was extremely gloomy at this moment. Sayaka, damn it, it actually turned out like this. It's too much, holding the sorrowful seeds left by the witch turned Sayaka, Madoka's tears kept flowing down. In this regard, Xiaomi Homura also felt powerless. After all, She has already said it, but Sayaka and the others just don't believe it, so there is nothing they can do. However, at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Whoosh! As the yellow ribbon tied up Xiao Mian's body, a silver spear engraved with patterns suddenly fired a bullet, blasting the soul gem on Kyoko's chest into pieces. In response to this, many viewers in the universe couldn't help but change their expressions, and felt a little uneasy in their hearts. What's the situation? Why would Tomo Asami take the initiative to attack Kyoko's soul gem? You know that for magical girls, the soul gem is everything. If the soul gem is destroyed, then their lives will end. But, why would Tomo Mami do this? Could it be that she has also been turned into a witch? Senior Sister BA. For the confused Xiaomi Homura, Tomo Mami has collapsed at this moment, and even fell into despair. If the soul gem can give birth to a witch, wouldn't everyone have no choice but to die? So do you, and so do I. Regarding the truth at this moment, Tomo Mami felt extremely desperate, and she decided to eliminate all witches in advance. However, just when Tomo Mami was about to shoot Xiaomi Homura, a pink arrow suddenly cut through the void and hit the soul gem on Tomo Mami's head. Needless to say, at this moment, it is Madoka who has become a magical girl. No, I've had enough of this kind of thing. After killing the senior sister she admired with her own hands, Madoka could no longer hold back and broke down crying. It's okay, let's work together, let's defeat the Witch Knight. Walking in front of Madoka, Xiao Mian couldn't help but comfort Madoka. For her, Senpai, Sayaka and Kyoko are not even 1% as important as Madoka. The only one she wants to save is Madoka. Save other people if you can. Even if she can't be saved, she can. In this regard, many magical girls couldn't help but feel powerless when looking at the scene on the screen. Incredible. In the previous world of Xiaomi Homura's reincarnation, something so desperate happened, which even made the originally gentle and kind-hearted Asami take action against her companions in despair. And all this is because they were bewitched by Kyubei and became magical girls. As the scene continued to play, Madoka and Akatsuki Homura joined forces to fight against the coming Witch Knight. However, as the two teamed up to defeat Witch Knight, due to consuming too much power, the soul gem also became deformed at this moment. Turbid. It's over. Both of them fell to the ground, their bodies covered with scars. Madoka looked at Xiao Mian beside her and couldn't help but said bitterly. Our soul gems will become the seeds of lamentation. In response, Xiao Mian couldn't help but smile, feeling helpless in her heart. Although she has worked hard. But the final outcome seems to be like this. However, if she could become a witch with Madoka, she would be satisfied. Really, the two of us will become monsters together and make everything in this world a mess, until all the annoying and sad things are as if they never happened. Destroy, destroy, keep destroying. Don't you think that is also good? However, just when Xiaomi Homura was about to give up on herself, Madoka suddenly took out the seed of lament left behind by killing Sayaka before, and purified Xiaomi Homura's soul gem back to its original form. I just lied to you, I still have one. Smiling slightly, looking at Xiao Mian's extremely surprised expression, Madoka spoke softly. Why give it to me? Because I want to ask you to do something that I can't do but Homura can do. Homura, you can live into the past, right? You said you could change history to prevent this ending from happening, right? Can you save me, the idiot who hasn't been deceived by Kyubei yet? At this moment, Madoka finally couldn't help but collapsed, tears could not help but flow down her cheeks, her voice was full of prayer and hope. I promise you, I will definitely save you, no matter how many times I repeat it, I will definitely protect you. After the words fell, a happy smile appeared on Madoka's face, but because the soul gem became turbid, her transformation into a witch was about to begin. Finally, with Madoka's prayer, Akatsuki Homura personally ended Shikama Madoka. At this point, Xiao Mian's hatred for Kyubei has reached its extreme, and the murderous intention that can spread beyond the screen is chilling. I see, I didn't expect this child to have the ability to go back in time and hate me so much. At this moment, Kyubei, who was watching the scene, also understood why Xiao Mian would kill him mercilessly when he met him. It turns out that it is because I have experienced so many reincarnations. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. However, it also found the reason why Madoka's qualifications have become so extraordinary. Kyubei. At this moment, countless spectators from all over the world were boiling with rage, and the anger in their hearts reached the extreme. How dare you seduce ignorant and innocent girls? It also made those lovely girls shed tears. This is really abominable. I will cook you in a million ways, you heartless devil. In the world of pirates, Sanji's face became extremely cold at this moment, and the murderous intent in his eyes was about to materialize at this moment. It is absolutely unforgivable to actually make a girl shed tears. Kewpie barbecue pork buns, I think it will be very popular with everyone. In the world of film and television, a certain barbecued pork bun shop owner couldn't help but squinted his eyes and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. At this moment, chefs with a sense of justice from countless dimensions in the world studied Kyubei's 100 cooking methods. For example, Little Boss Lu Angxing, Yukahei Soma from Shokoku no Soma, Menchi from Hunter, Komatsu from Gourmet Prisoner, Tao Ma from Japanese Bread King. There are also some people who master torture have also studied the torture of Kyubei, such as skinning, cutting in half, car splitting, filling with lead, beating with sticks, riding wooden donkeys, the top 10 tortures of the Qing dynasty, etc. Wait. And some viewers who originally thought Kyubei looked cute couldn't help but feel very dissatisfied and disgusted with Kyubei. Although it does allow the girls to become magical girls based on their wishes, as the party who signed the contract, should the party clearly explain the final result to them. But for its own survival, it continues to lead girls into the abyss of despair. This is really abominable. The scene continued to play, and as Xiao Mian returned to the past again, her eyes became extremely 803 determined at this moment, and she no longer had any worries in her heart. Now that no one believes in the future, no one can accept the future. In that case, she will never rely on anyone again, and everything will be solved by herself. As Xiao Mian took off her own mirror, untied her rustic double ponytails like a village girl, she looked exactly the same as when the audience saw her for the first time. Became a long and straight black and cold goddess. Madoka, even if a guy comes along who promises to bring you a miracle and wants you to join his gang, you must never obey his words. Arrived at the window of Madoka's room, in Madoka's surprised eyes, Xiao Mian's cold voice came out, and she was holding Kyubei's body in her hand. As the picture continued to change, time and space were restarted this time. Xiao Mian started hunting Kyubei and dealt with all the witches by herself, and decided not to interact with anyone. Defeat the Night of the Witch alone. Then, Homura Akemi, who has no interaction with Tomo Mami and the others, faces the Witch Knight alone. With the advent of Witch Knight, the entire city was almost reduced to ruins at this moment, and Madoka followed Kyubei to the top floor. Isn't this the dream I had last night? Looking at the scene in the picture and the development of things, Madoka couldn't help but cover her mouth, and her eyes shook violently. It seems that, the content shown in the video is completely true. Moreover, the dream I had last night was probably the scene from my last reincarnation. Actually, this is the situation, how much Xiao Mian has endured by herself. Besides, Tomo Mami and Sayaka were stunned on the spot, the expressions on their faces were extremely dull. It was unexpected for them that Xiaomi Homura had experienced so much. And I have met them countless times. However, he didn't even notice it. He was even full of hostility towards her in the future. This was so inhumane. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 290. As the scene continued to play, everything was just like Madoka's dream before. Akatsuki Homura, who transformed into a magical girl, continued to launch fierce offensives. However, she simply cannot defeat this most powerful witch of the night with just her power. Soon, Xiao Mian fell into a disadvantage, and was even blasted away by the witch's terrifying attack. Too much. Looking at this scene, Madoka couldn't help but say, "There's nothing I can do. If she's alone, the burden will be too heavy." Looking at Kyubei, who started to bewitch Madoka, Akatsuki Homura, who was fighting Witch Knight in the distance, couldn't help but anxiously shouted, "Madoka, you can't listen to that guy. If you give up, that's the end of it, but if it's you, you can change your destiny. The unavoidable destruction and size, you just have to subvert them all, you also have the power to do it all." Ignoring Xiao Mian's obstruction, Kyubei's voice continued. Really, at this moment, Madoka couldn't help but widen her eyes, and hope emerged in her heart. If she can save Homura Akatsuki and the city by becoming a magical girl, then she will naturally transform into a magical girl without hesitation. Don't be fooled, don't fall for its tricks. In mid-air, Xiao Mian, who was shot down by the witch, kept shouting towards the direction of Madoka. Her voice was almost hoarse at this moment. Can people like me really achieve anything? Can this ending be changed? Of course. Kyubei was naturally extremely certain about this, and felt a little excited in his heart, so sign a contract with me and become a magical girl. No. In the end, amidst Akatsuki Homura's heartbreaking shouts, Madoka Shikama chose to become a magical girl in order to protect Akatsuki Homura and the city. Boom. As the contract was established, an unparalleled wave of a powerful aura filled the air at this moment. The terrifying power and unrivaled posture made countless beings in the heavens and worlds feel unprecedented shock. The planet-level magical girl Madoka Shikama officially debuts. If Madoka's strength in the previous reincarnation world was just an ordinary city-destroying existence, now Madoka has reached a level that is enough to destroy the planet. The leap in strength is unprecedented, even comparable to the increase in combat power of Kakarot when he transformed into a Super Saiyan. So, as the magical girl Madoka in the picture shot out an arrow, the arrow filled with pink light was packed with the energy to destroy the world, and it was instantly blasted towards the witch in mid-air. The atmosphere was instantly blown away at this moment, and the surroundings, the space inside couldn't stop trembling, and the fierce power overwhelmed the entire sky. Boom! Without the slightest surprise, the arrow Madoka shot landed on the witch, and the terrifying power burst out at this moment. The witch, who was invincible in front of Xiaomi Homura, was instantly melted by the pink energy. Everything around is constantly being destroyed. At this moment, the world was like the creation of Pangu, falling into an extremely shocking scene. The earth began to shake continuously, violent winds continued to sweep out, and waves of invisible fluctuations spread out, covering the entire sky in darkness. It was instantly dispersed, as if the sky had cleared after the rain, making people feel extremely comfortable. At this moment, looking at the scene in front of them, countless strong men from all major dimensions couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. Their minds felt as if a thunderbolt had struck them, and they froze in place. Too strong. Is this really a magical girl? This kind of powerful power has surpassed Boros, who appeared on the previous inventory screen. And, that's just a small flat A. Could it be? Does Madoka have power comparable to that of a Super Saiyan at this moment? Good, so awesome. Will Madoka become so powerful when she becomes a magical girl? But why wasn't it so powerful before? At the same time, in the world of Madoka Magica, Miki Sayaka and Tomo Mami couldn't help but sigh. Although they already knew the truth of the matter, they still had to lament how powerful Madoka was at this moment. Compared with her, they simply cannot call themselves magical girls. Homura, on the side, Madoka didn't feel happy at all at this moment, because her end was already doomed. She doesn't care at all how powerful her future is, she cares more about Xiao Mian's feelings. After all, in my last reincarnation, I finally failed Xiao Mian and chose to become a magical girl. But what should I do if I don't become a magical girl? This time, I will definitely stop you, no matter what the cost. On the other side, Xiao Mian looked at Madoka in the screen, and her heart was extremely determined. The screen continued to play. It's really amazing, Madoka after transformation, although I also predicted that she would become the strongest magical girl, but I didn't expect Madoka to defeat that nightmare with one strike. Sitting next to Xiao Mian, Kyubei couldn't help but sigh as he looked at the world. Even what the ending will be, have you already seen through it? Xiao Mian lowered her head and asked coldly. No matter morning or night, the ending is the same. As the strongest magical girl, she has reached her greatest enemy. Of course, after that, she can only become the most evil witch. Looking at the huge black shadow covered by clouds and mist in the void, Kyubei's slightly expectant voice came out. Now Madoka, I am afraid that this planet will be destroyed in about 10 days. Well, but from now on, it is your own problem as humans. Our energy recovery target has been basically reached. Hearing this, the seniors, Madoka, Kyoko, Sayaka and even all the magical girls who were watching the scene felt despair at this moment. This is a conspiracy. Naked conspiracy. There is no other way now. They were deceived by Kyubei into becoming magical girls. It is no longer possible for them to continue living as humans. Even the final disaster will be themselves. However, Xiao Mian in the picture didn't feel much about Kyubei's words, and stood up to leave. Aren't you going to fight? In this regard, Kyubei couldn't help feeling a little confused. No more, my battlefield is not here. Facing Kyubei's back and looking at the black shadow in the sky, Xiao Mian's faint voice came out. Xiao Mian, what are you? However, before Kyubei's voice could fall, Xiao Mian restarted time and space again, and she continued to walk in the time and space tunnel. Repeat. No matter how many times I repeat it, I will be reincarnated countless times in the same time period, looking for the only exit. To find a way to save you from a hopeless fate, to read cool novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Madoka, my only friend. For you, as long as it is for you, even if I am trapped in an eternal maze, it doesn't matter. Hearing the voice from Akatsuki Homura, countless spectators from all over the world, as well as Madoka and others who were watching the scene, couldn't help but fall into silence. Turn out to be Xiao Mian actually did this for Madoka, just to find a way to save Madoka in reincarnations. This is so touching. Is this the legendary love? Pooh, is it friendship? However, this seems to be an unsolvable path. At the same time, in the world of Madoka Magica. At this moment, Kyubei felt gratified and even happy about Xiao Mian's reincarnations. As a time traveler, Akatsuki Homura, she has traveled through countless parallel worlds in order to switch to the possibility of the past, and she has repeated it over the course of a month in order to get the ending she seeks. And this is why Madoka Shikama has the skills to be a magical girl. The reason why it is so beyond ordinary people's qualifications. Now we can establish an acceptable hypothesis. The potential to become a magical girl is determined by the number of causes and effects she carries. It would be easy to understand if she was the queen or savior of a country, but for Madoka who was just given an ordinary life, why there are such huge lines of cause and effect, it is unexplainable. However, Madoka is because every time Xiaomi Homura repeats in the same amount of time, they both further transformed into more powerful magical girls. The reason lies in Xiao Mian's body. To be precise, it should be said that it is a side effect of her magic. The reason why Akatsuki Homura turned back time was for the safety of Madoka Shikama. For the same reason and purpose, when she turned back time many times, she twisted countless parallel worlds into a spiral. And with Madoka Shikama as the central axis of existence, all the causal lines of parallel worlds that were originally impossible to be entangled are connected to Madoka in this timeline. This is why Madoka's qualifications are so powerful. You have made a great contribution to Xiaomian, and you have trained Madoka into the strongest witch for me. In this regard, Kyubei, who was watching the scene, couldn't help but feel relieved. As the scene continued to play, Xiaomi Homura, who had told Madoka everything, cried bitterly. Due to the countless flashbacks, by Wangzhou, she began to become wandering. Because her bond with Madoka has become more profound with each reincarnation, but in Madoka's eyes, she will always be just a new transfer student, and the initial understanding between the two gradually deviated, and now I can barely even speak anymore. Saving Madoka is the wish made by Akatsuki Homura by dedicating her soul to become a magical girl, and now it has become her only spiritual sustenance. Facing Madoka, who is familiar yet unfamiliar in this reincarnation, Xiaomian can only plead with her to let herself protect her. And with the advent of disastrous weather in the weather forecast, the fuse of countless tragedies, the protagonist of the Night of the Witch, the stage device appears. Facing the Witch of the Night who was far more powerful than herself, Xiaomian decided to strike first, pausing the entire world's time at this moment, and blasting out all the weapons stolen by the island nation's self-defense forces and the US military stationed in Japan in the past month. Boom 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 boom. As the time stasis was lifted, countless missiles continued to fall on the stage witch, and drove her into the pre-arranged broad-blade hell. Boom. In an instant, the sky-high firelight illuminated the whole world, and the terrifying power continued to rush into the sky at this moment. Even the stage witch's ferocious smile was suffocated at this moment. However, faced with such a terrifying offensive, the witch recovered from the explosion unscathed and straightened her posture, launching a counter-attack towards Akatsuki Homura. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 291. At this moment, looking at the scene in front of them, countless spectators from all over the world could not help but sigh, and a sense of powerlessness emerged in their hearts. Most people can see it. Although Xiaomian's series of attacks were very intense, even terrifying. But it's a pity. After all, this kind of weapon made by humans can't seriously damage the powerful stage witch in front of me. After all, only magic can defeat magic. And just Xiaomian doesn't have that kind of powerful magic attack. In the picture, Xiaomian's body was suddenly blasted away, and a mouthful of bright red blood spit out from her mouth instantly. As soon as the camera turned, Madoka's figure also appeared in everyone's eyes. Is it true that Homura said that one person can win? Looking at Kyubei in front of her, Madoka couldn't help but ask. If I deny it, will you believe me? Looking at the direction where Akatsuki Homura and the witch were fighting, seeing that Madoka didn't answer, Kyubei continued, there is nothing special to say now. Witness it with your own eyes. Facing the witch Akatsuki at night, how far can Mian do it? Then, as the scene continued to change, after a conversation with Kyubei, Madoka finally made up her mind to save Xiaomi Homura. However, just when Madoka went to look for Xiaomian, Xiaomian's injuries became more and more serious under the fierce attack of Witch Knight. And the witch is chasing Akatsuki Homura while heading towards the gymnasium where a large number of evacuees have gathered. Boom! As a tall building fell on Xiaomian, the terrifying power instantly severely damaged her. The ground was shaking continuously at this moment, and a scene like the end of the world appeared in front of everyone's eyes in 617. As the smoke dissipated, Xiao Mian fell weakly to the ruins on the ground. Even her legs were pressed by boulders at this moment, and her body could not move. Why, no matter how many times I can't beat that guy. However, just when Xiao Mian was about to reverse time and space again, she was suddenly stunned. You know, repeat words. The cause and effect of the small circle with the same component will be added here. What she did, in the end. Nothing can change the outcome. Gradually, Xiao Mian felt a little desperate, and the soul gem in her hand gradually became black at this moment. At this moment, the faces of the viewers from all dimensions, as well as Madoka and others who were watching the scene, turned pale, and they felt extremely desperate in their hearts. Obviously, Xiao Mian has worked so hard, why can't she defeat Witch Knight? In the picture, just when Xiao Mian's soul gem is about to become completely turbid, she is about to start transforming into a witch. I saw Madoka appearing in front of Xiao Mian. She gently held Xiao Mian's hand. Looking at his extremely embarrassed appearance, she couldn't help but said, that's enough, Homura. As the words fell, an impassioned and sacred voice filled with majesty suddenly sounded. Madoka also stood up, looking at the witch knight in the void with extremely firm eyes. Beside her, Kyubei's figure slowly appeared in everyone's eyes. Madoka, could it be that? At this moment, looking at Kyubei's figure, Xiao Mian said with trembling in her voice. Homura, I'm sorry, I finally understand, I finally find what I want to achieve, so I'm going to use my life for it. Don't want, in that case, what am I doing for? At this moment, Xiao Mian could no longer restrain her emotions, and her whole person began to collapse. You know, even though she has been reincarnated so many times, she has never collapsed like this. However, facing Madoka's decision at this moment, she could no longer restrain her emotions. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, I was thinking, I have been protected and looked forward to by Xiao Yan all this time, and that's why I am what I am now. Madoka stepped forward and hugged Xiaomei Homura, who was losing her voice in pain. Madoka kept comforting Xiaomei Homura in her arms. I'm really sorry. I am exactly like this, and now I have finally found the answer, believe me. I will never let Homura's hard work up to this day go to waste. As Madoka cast his gaze, Kyubei also slowly said, if you include the fate of countless worlds and become the singular point of cause and effect, can any huge wish come true, right? After all, under the superposition of countless causes and effects, no matter what wish Madoka Shikama makes at this moment, it can all come true. And she will become the most powerful magical girl in the world. And after that, she will naturally transform into a witch. After all, this is a closed loop and there is simply no way out of it. As for what will happen next, that has nothing to do with it. Anyway, their goal has been achieved, and it doesn't matter what happens to this planet. So, Shikama Madara, what do you wish for at the cost of your soul? As Kyubei's voice fell, the audience watching the scene showed extremely angry expressions at this moment. Could it be that? Is there no way to stop this closed loop? This abominable Kyubei is simply insane. However, some powerful beings and some smart beings have already guessed what Madoka will wish for. To read cool novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Probably. Will Madoka Shikame make a wish to save all magical girls? And if you want to save all magical girls, you probably need to transform into the ring principle mentioned in the previous evaluation. It's really exciting, the ultimate infinite, conceptual multiverse level existence, Shikama Enkamai. At this moment, countless strong men from all over the world cast their eyes on Madoka in the picture, with incomparable expectations in their hearts. After all, what kind of wish would make Madoka Shikama become such a powerful, existence and give them such a terrifying and oppressive feeling? At the same time, in the world of Madoka Magica, at this moment, Tomo Asami, Sayaka, Sakura Kyoko and others all looked very ugly, and Madoka's parents were glaring at Kyubei in the screen, wanting to beat him up. But what if I beat it or even killed it? The future is already decided, and no one can change the hopeless future. No matter what wish Madoka makes, no matter how strong the hope it brings. In the end, Madoka will become a more powerful witch and bring despair to the world. Don't want, no, you can't make a wish to it. On the other side, Xiaomei Homura, who was watching the picture, kept shouting loudly, hoping to stop Madoka, who was planning to make a wish to Kyubei. However, compared with others, looking at herself in the picture at this moment, Shikama Madoka suddenly feel a little hope, because she had never seen an unprecedented determination in her eyes. In the picture, Madoka took a deep breath, and then said to Kyubei, I want to destroy all witches before they are born. All witches in the universe, past and future, with my own hands. Hearing this, Kyubei's eyes suddenly widened, and his emotions fluctuated violently at this moment. Buzz. At the same time, a ray of pink light suddenly shone on Madoka's chest, and then, the pink light continues to become more intense, lighting up the whole world like the sun. At this moment, countless strong men in the world couldn't help but widen their eyes, their minds were constantly shaking, and their whole bodies were trembling involuntarily. This wish. It's so crazy. It's really surprising, I seem to have seen the not too distant future. In the Dragon Ball world, the eyes of the great priest located in the Quanwang Palace suddenly lit up, and the expression on his face was extremely surprised. If you make such a wish, with the blessing of countless causes and effects, perhaps this girl can really transcend time, space, laws, and cause and effect. On the side, King Kwan's expression was very surprised at this moment, and there was an extremely excited expression on his cute face. This girl. It feels really strange to him. And even he couldn't erase this aura. However, this is really interesting. This prayer, if this prayer comes true, it will not only be a level of time interference. In the picture, looking at Madoka, who was emitting dazzling light at the moment, Kyubei's eyes shook violently, with a slight panic in his voice. This is a violation of the law of cause and effect itself. Are you really planning to become a god? At this moment, the whole body of Madoka, who made the wish, was enveloped by a dazzling light. The extremely powerful and sacred aura rushed into the sky at this moment, and was still expanding, reaching hundreds of the speed continues to increase 1,000 times, and the entire universe is almost unable to bear it at this moment. It doesn't matter what God is. Everyone who has fought against the witch so far, the magical girl who believed in hope, I don't want to make them cry, I hope they keep smiling until the end, and I will break the rules that hinder this and change them. This is my prayer, my wish, come on, make it happen, incubators. As Madoka's voice fell, the pink light and the sacred and powerful aura continued to expand violently at this moment. Boom! In an instant, a dazzling pink light pillar instantly rose into the sky, and continued to move towards it, spread around and enveloped the world in an instant. Click! As a slight cracking sound sounded, the whole world was enveloped in tiny pink lights at this moment, just like pink snow falling. Normally, the whole time becomes beautiful at this moment. Then, in the eyes of all the audience, Madoka's outfit changed into a cute magical girl style, and she also held a handle inlaid with 2 pink gems in her hand, the staff. The whole body was emitting an extremely sacred and dazzling light at this moment. It was as if, at this moment, Madoka Shikama is like a god. Buzz. As the witch's laughter echoed throughout the world, the staff in Madoka's hand suddenly changed at this moment. A pink thread was connected to the head and tail of the staff, becoming a bow full of sacred aura. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 292. Hiss. At this moment, many of the top experts couldn't help but take a breath of cold air, their hearts were shaking violently, and an unprecedented fear kept pouring into their hearts. Hiss, it's so scary. Is this really the girl who had no power to bind a chicken? This kind of power has reached many levels beyond our world. In the world of pirates, Kizaru couldn't help but take a breath of cold air at this moment, and directly burst out his own mantra. And this time, he was not joking, but he really felt fear. That overriding power is many times more terrifying than an item like the devil fruit dash. Amazing, just a wish has become such a powerful existence. How on earth is it possible? In the world of Naruto and his team couldn't help but sigh. 2. It's so powerful, this will definitely save all the magical girls. During the demon destroying time, Tanjiro and the pillar level experts all exclaimed. Have to say, even we cannot touch this kind of power, which is far beyond our imagination. In the world of one leaf covering the sky, the ancient supreme beings in the restricted area of life made sounds like they were talking in sleep at this moment. It is unimaginable. How could that magical girl world reach such a terrifying state? Obviously, those magical girls are very weak. Sharp, this is too powerful, it is much stronger than the strong men I have seen. On the other side, Yefan looked at Xiao Yuan in the picture and couldn't help but sigh. This girl's level is no longer understandable by our world. I'm afraid even the legendary immortals may not be able to understand this kind of existence. At this time, the Black Emperor, who had always been arrogant, felt an unprecedented shock. For 9 days and 10 places, looking at the deer's round eyes in the picture, Shihao opened his mouth slightly, his eyes could not help but condense, and a huge wave was set off in his heart. This girl. It gave him the feeling that he was even more powerful than Lu Shen. What level of existence is this? It actually reached such a terrifying state, even he felt extremely stressed at this moment. Given his talent, it would be unimaginable for him to achieve such a level in the future. But the girl in front of him who is close to his age has actually reached such a terrifying state. This is too perverted. As the scene continued to play, Madoka, who transformed into a magical girl, opened the bowstring in her hand, and a burst of energy like pink flame suddenly emerged. At the same time, an extremely mysterious pink magic circle suddenly appeared in the sky, covering the entire sky. Call out. As Madoka released her bowstring, a pink flame instantly shot up into the sky and hit the mysterious pink magic circle in the sky. Next moment. Boom. In an instant, the world originally covered by darkness turned into the blue of the past. Countless pink light arrows burned with pink flames and shot out in all directions. Each arrow was wrapped with unparalleled power. Enough to easily destroy any planet. This moment. No matter which time and space on Earth, magical girls in any corner, magical girls in the past, present, and future, or even magical girls in parallel universes and any timeline. At the moment when the soul gem was about to become turbid, the pink arrows fired by Madoka all arrived in front of the opponent one by one, and destroy the soul gem in the opponent's hand and the turbidity it is filled with. Shikamaru. This moment really brings hope to all magical girls, so that they no longer have to endure the pain of becoming witches and go to unknown planes. With your prayers, I will never let it end in despair. If you don't go back to curse or harm anyone, I will take over all the consequences. So please, believe in yourself until the end. At this moment, Madoka's voice seemed to spread throughout countless worlds and fell into the ears of all magical girls, making them feel unprecedented peace of mind. At the same time, as the overwhelming pink arrows continued to blast out, which night also gradually fell, her body continued to fall apart, turned into countless powders and disappeared into the void. However, even on the verge of death, she was still laughing ferociously, but there was a hint of hysteria in her laughter. It's enough, it's already, that's enough, no need to resent anyone anymore, no need to curse anyone anymore, before you become like that again, just let me accept you. As Madoka's voice fell, an extremely sacred and powerful force burst out instantly. The blazing white light erupted like a star, and a storm comparable to level 12 continued to wreak havoc. The scene turned, and after being shrouded in white light, Xiao Mian slowly opened her eyes and looked at the surrounding environment with great surprise. This is based on the new laws brought by Madoka, and the universe has been reprogrammed. At this time, Kyubei's voice suddenly fell into the ears of Xiao Mian and everyone in the world. By the way, you are also a user of time-traveling magic, so let's witness together the ending of the existence of Madoka Shikama. As Kyubei's voice fell, a soul gem wrapped in black evil aura in the starry sky continued to cut through the starry sky. That was the soul gem her prayers brought. Do you know the price of fulfilling that overly ambitious prayer, the equivalent amount of curse that Madoka bears? Equality has been achieved with the same hope as creating a universe, that is to say, this is equivalent to bringing despair enough to end a universe. How come? At this moment, Xiao Mian's face suddenly became normal, and her eyes were full of fear. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Boom. As the endless evil aura continues to spread, the entire starry sky and even the universe are enveloped by this power at this moment. The despair born from Madoka's wish, a new witch has appeared. Looking at the scene in front of them, many viewers couldn't help but think of Zamesu from before. At that time, Zamesu was also one with the will of the universe. At this moment, the witch also has terrifying power similar to Zamesu. Ha 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 ha. Along with the weird laughter, when the strong men from many dimensions saw this terrifying creature, their faces became extremely pale at this moment, and cold sweat could not stop flowing down. Such a terrifying witch! Far beyond their imagination. It has reached a level of terror that would make most of the world despair. Could it be? Can the final outcome still be like this? In response to this, the magical girls in the world of Madoka Magica almost collapsed at this moment and felt unprecedented despair. In the picture, just when Xiao Mian felt extremely desperate, a familiar voice suddenly sounded in everyone's ears. 0 flowers requested. No. It doesn't matter, my wish is to eliminate all witches. If that comes true, I will no longer have the need to despair. Crack. At this moment, a sound as if something was breaking suddenly sounded, and Madoka's figure suddenly appeared in everyone's eyes. The originally short pink hair turned into extremely long hair at this moment. The clothes on her body turned into pure white gorgeous clothes at this moment. And Madoka's originally immature face became extremely mature at this moment, as if a fairy descended to earth, and she was the person on the cover of the inventory. The stunning appearance displayed. The next moment, Madoka, who seemed to have grown up in an instant, stretched out her hands, and a bow full of sacred aura appeared in her hands. Phew! Following Madoka pulling out the bowstring, a magic circle spanning most of the universe suddenly appeared in everyone's eyes. An extremely powerful force continued to gather in the arrows at this moment. Boom! The next moment, as the arrow blasted out, the terrifying power instantly penetrated most of the universe. The power that transcended time, space, and cause and effect burst out instantly, and fell on the extremely huge witch who was as huge as the Milky Way. Boom! I saw that as the arrow landed on the witch, an extremely dazzling blazing light suddenly burst out at this moment. A big explosion that swept through the entire universe continued to spread at this moment, destroying the seemingly invincible witch. Destroy them all. However, a dreamlike scene appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The entire universe became extremely beautiful at this moment, with pink and purple light covering the entire universe. Madoka, in this way, your life will have no beginning and no end. The proof and memory of having lived in this world will not remain anywhere, and your existence will be transferred to a higher realm. In the end, you exist as a concept. No one can recognize you, and you can't interfere with anyone. You will no longer be a member of this universe. As Kyubei's voice fell, Xiao Mian couldn't help but trembled and said, "What is that? Is this the ending that Madoka hopes for? If it ends in this way, will Madoka be rewarded? Do not make jokes. This is worse than death." However, at this moment, Madoka's figure suddenly appeared next to Xiao Mian, and her gentle voice as always reached everyone's ears. "No. No, Homura. Now I can see everything in the past and future, the universe that may have existed in the past, and the universe that may appear when I don't know when, all can be seen. So, I know everything. For countless hours, Xiao Yan has been working hard for me. I was not able to realize all of it, sorry, Homura, this moment. Kanamengan has become a god in the true sense, creating hope for all witches. There will no longer be witches in this world, and there will no longer be any new despair. Madoka, in a real sense, it brings hope to all magical girls." The inventory screen ends with Madoka hugging Homura Akatsuki. Evaluation: the ultimate infinity, a multiverse-level existence that transcends time, space, laws, and cause and effect, the principle of the circle that only exists in concepts, Shikama in Shin. Wide.